These are the characters that fell off the hardest in Smash Ultimate, meaning when the game first came out, they were considered to be the best, the GOATs of Smash Bros. However, due to nerfs or other more specific reasons which we will cover in this video, they are now in fact considered not that good, and in some cases actually just quite bad now. And let's start it off with a character I used to play, Pichu. Pichu was a dominant force when Smash Ultimate first came out. And Pichu is notably played by Void at Genesis 6, which is the 6th largest Smash Bros tournament of all time. That's including every type of Smash Bros game. And at this tournament, with Pichu, Void placed second, only losing to MKLeo, aka the best Smash Bros Ultimate player of all time, in a Grand Finals bracket reset situation. This character was the top of the food chain, with top players placing Pichu as high as second on their personal tier list back in 2019. However, now Pichu is considered a mid-tier on the official Smash Bros tier list, which was created between a multitude of top players, and Pichu is now gone from being second best in the game down to 55th. To explain why this happened, you've got to know that Pichu is a glass cannon archetype, meaning they do a lot of damage and land early KOs. However, they can also die quite early due to being such a light character. Now, this type of character is very tough to balance due to it being so volatile, having strong offense but also poor defense. And so, in the early meta, when the game wasn't explored too much, Pichu's hard-hitting ability, combined with his combos and kills being easier to land than Pikachu, who is also considered a great character, meant that Pichu was an amazing character to play in the early days of Ultimate. And so, big old Nintendo came in with the nerfs. Lots of nerfs. Not only did Pichu's damage and kill power get reduced drastically, but the damage Pichu does to themselves whilst attacking also increased. Nintendo really just sliced Pichu open and started rubbing salt in the wound with these double nerfs. So Pichu's cut open, he's wounded, he's got salt in the wound, and now Nintendo just starts stomping on his head. They even increased the size of Pichu's hurt box, and although it doesn't look like that much of a change in this image, this has a huge difference on how easy it is for people to land their aerial attacks on Pichu. However, there is another secret nerf that a lot of people never talk about, and that is that the meta just developed. I'm not going to go into the details of SDI, however, essentially you can wiggle your control stick to escape certain combos, and people figured out that you can SDI up to escape Pichu's back air combos. What you're seeing on screen right now is what people used to call lightning loops, and in the early days, people used to get stuck in this combo forever. But as people got better technically at the game, they realized that this combo wasn't even true. Players also learned how to get better at landing combos and kills with their more complicated characters, which took more advantage of Pichu's light weight. People also started just to camp out Pichu, taking advantage of the extra damage Pichu now did to themselves. So yeah, Pichu is a glass cannon character that started off with a lot more cannon and a lot less glass, and it has kind of switched around. Pichu's a whole lot less cannon and a lot more glass nowadays. Our next character is Inkling. This character used to be considered by some as the best character in the entire game. However, they are now officially the 46th best character. Oh my lisp. But let me take you back in time and read you a little Reddit post from 5 years ago. This is by Heat Lifer. Thank you very much, Heat Lifer. Inkling is so broken. Seriously, I don't understand what they were thinking with this character. Her mobility in the air and ground is almost unmatched. Amazing projectile, recovery, and offstage game. Quick aerials with really broken hitboxes. Roller burying for 50 years. Quick smash attacks, good grabs. This character seriously needs a nerf as she has zero weakness and invalidates a good portion of the roster. Inkling was an absolute menace of a character that had people pulling their goddamn hair out when the game first came out. However, nowadays, you barely see any top players at all. In fact, if you look at the current alt rankings, formerly known as the PGR rankings, you've got to scroll all the way down in the rankings until you get to 73rd to see the best Inkling player in the world. But this character used to be the GOAT. I literally remember multiple people raging at my local Smash tournaments due to having to play against Inkling and his unbelievably broken roller move that you can't beat. However, Inkling hasn't really changed from release like Pichu has. In fact, if you look at the total changes to the character, there are more buffs, which are in the green, than the nerfs, which are the red. However, let's still take a look at the roller nerfs because I think they are a bit significant. The move was changed, so at lower percents, the move doesn't bury you in the ground for as long. However, once you start to get above like 100% damage, the move keeps you in the ground for longer. Now, this ended up being a nerf because if you were above 100% back in the day and you got hit by a roller, you were gonna die anyway before and you're gonna die now. However, if you got hit at 80% back in 2019, you would still get killed, but now you can mash out. Speaking of mashing, it's also fair to say people have just gotten better at that. In Smash Bros, when you get buried into the ground, you have to mash your controller as fast as you can so you can get out before Inkling comes over and beats your head in with a paintbrush. Although people have now discovered that simply twirling around your control stick extremely fast counts as multiple inputs and has resulted in people being able to get out of berries faster in general. But I still don't believe that this one roller nerf had a massive impact on Inkling at a high level. In my opinion, the real reason is just the character is not bullshit enough. Sure, the character is quick and has some nice little combos, but as soon as you get good enough at avoiding roller, how do you actually land kills with this character? Let's take a look at how many of the best characters in the game I would say have a high BS factor rating, which is a scientific term I've just invented for how likely it is that when you win with your character, your opponent is going to say, that was bullshit. Steve, it's 100% BS. Aegis, 98% bullshit. Joker, you're often dying because Arsene and the broken back air. His up B tether is ridiculous. Yeah, that's 90% bullshit. Sonic, 100%. Fox, I actually think Fox is pretty cool. I'll give him a 30%. Rob, 90%. He's got the 0 to death gyro bloody combos. Nair down it. Why is back air so big? Kazuya, that is 110% BS. But if we go back to Inkling, he has like no BS. No cheese that is going to let you edge it out at a tournament. Wait. Inklings have this combo that they call the Booyah, where you throw your opponent up in the air and land an up air to get the kill. This is their amazing kill confirm that they have. Now let me show you the specifics. First of all, it starts killing at like over 100% on every character in the game, which is already not that amazing of a kill confirm anymore, is it? And now, look at how specific it is to land the move. Mario, 113 to 117% is the range it hits. Peach, 106 to 113. Pikachu, it hits at specifically 99% only. Toon Link, it hits if you get a grab at exactly 109%. And then you start to factor in rage and the fact that if you get a bit of ink on your opponent, it changes this whole thing. It means it's pretty much impossible to land this specific ass combo setup into death. And you need a bit of BS. I'm sure some of you right now are thinking that you would just use Inkling and still win because it's kind of a generally good character. They're not that bad at anything. You could just win if you have really good fundamentals with the character. I'm sorry, that is not how it works. Look at MKLeo here, the #1 player in the world, killing T in literally 7 seconds.
Best at MKLeo. Oh my God in heaven!
Inkling has no chance in doing that, man, and that is why Inkling has fallen off. Alright, let's get a wriggle on because I still have 2 more characters I want to talk about. So up next is Ike. In fact, speaking of MKLeo, this was his initial main in Smash Bros. Ultimate, winning multiple tournaments and being the #1 player in the world with this character. Although there wasn't an official tier list for Ultimate like there is now, the Smash Ultimate community tier list had Ike as the 8th best character in the game. back in 2019. However, he is now officially ranked 65th in the game. And honestly, there isn't too much to go in depth on here. Ike is an extremely simple character. His combos consist of landing neutral air and following it up with another attack. That is pretty much it. If you're feeling a little bit spicy, a little bit saucy, maybe you can go on a platform, hit 2 neutral airs, and then do another attack. But yeah, that's about it. He's a character who hits really hard and has great range. And these are things that you can start being effective with very quickly if you have good fundamentals, which obviously MKLeo had. However, as the meta progresses, players get better with their more complicated characters. And so Ike simply just got passed on by all these other characters. He also has a very hard time getting back to stage against people who are good at landing their edge guards, and as the meta develops, people are better at landing their edge guards too. You combine this with the fact that, yeah, MKLeo was winning tournaments with Ike, it really boosted up how good people thought this character was early on in Smash Bros. Ultimate's lifespan. But the lack of potential has seen him slip down the tier list faster than an oiled up seal on a water slide. And now Chrom is up next. Being seen as 11th in the game back in 2019, he has now fallen down to 43rd. However, I remember very vividly many top players thinking that this character was straight up number 1 in the game. I didn't scour a bunch of tier lists, but I'm sure there are many out there that has Chrom as like top 3, top 5 at the very least in these early days. And if you think you're a smart cookie, you might think that Chrom is quite similar to Ike. He's quite simple. He has a poor recovery, but you're wrong. You're a dumb cookie. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, he didn't get passed on by as Ike as much. He's not as slow and as obvious as Ike was, so that's not the main reason he isn't seen as being as good now. It's actually got something to do with this.
And he does catch Shoyo finally with that down smash, but this is a big death to make up.
Now, I know the Chrom was upper stock anyway, so now they would still win the match. But look, the Rob died first. Chrom still has his 2 stocks, and this was a consistent option that Chrom had that was known as the chromicide. I'm sure you can work that one out. He could always go for a guaranteed up B kill that had many guaranteed combos into it. You could carry opponents to the side of the stage and then just hit this final blow with up B. It was an incredible BS factor, which we were talking about makes characters good before, and it really made Chrom a threat at all times. However, Nintendo eventually patched this out, and now Chrom dies first like 99% of the time, which it seems like a silly thing, but it actually nerfed his ability to get guaranteed ways to seal out of stock no matter what the percent, and really made him less of a threat at tournament level. So yeah, those are 4 of the characters that have fallen off the hardest. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this more analytical, bit of a deep dive video. And also drop a like if this video gets enough likes, then that tells me you like these kind of videos, and I could maybe do a video on like maybe the characters that have had a glow up that were considered absolutely dog poop and have now been considered some of the top 5, top 10 characters in the game and have really taken over the meta. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.